Mr. Yang, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
Why do third parties historically fail?
Well, they focus on the wrong things. And the Forward Party is going to do the opposite of what other parties have done, in that we're starting local.
It's bottom up instead of top down.
Yeah, if you look at the past efforts, they've been built around a national campaign, and then when that campaign ends, then the party kind of folds up its tent and goes home. We're the opposite. We're building from the ground up.
Will you then foreclose on the possibility of running a candidate for president in 2024?
We are not running a candidate in the national race in 24 because our focus is local.
Even if Joe Manchin says, I want to join, to run for president, he's out.
Well, there are other people that are looking at that sort of effort. That's not what the Forward Party is doing.
You want Forward to run down the middle of the road?
Yeah, which is what most people want. And that group of Floridians and Americans is right now being drowned out politically. And most of the people watching this are nodding their heads, being like, oh yeah, why is it that the folks in charge seem to be on one extreme, and that doesn't match either what I want or my neighbors want?
But among the more than third of Americans who say they are independents, most of them at the end of the day will lean Republican or Democrat, and it's more like 7 to 9% who are truly independent. Is that going to be enough to harness for Forward to take off?
Well, the great thing is you don't need necessarily 51% of people to join Forward to change things here in Florida and around the country. You probably need a much lower number, but the numbers that you're citing actually are very, very misleading. Where there are a lot of folks, I'll even use myself. If you gave me a choice between the Democrat and Republican Party, maybe I have a preference. But I'm an independent. 49% of Americans now say they're independents. 2 million plus Floridians say they're independents. And so if you force them into these two buckets, might they choose one or the other? Sure. But if they had another choice, let's call it the Forward Party, will they embrace that? 100% yes.
There's an old saying, there's only two things in the middle of the road in politics, highway stripes and roadkill. That was before the age of social media, when it plays up that which stokes tension and disagreement and anger and hostility. How do you know that running down the middle won't just get you ignored?
Well, Craig, you've actually hit the problem on the head, which is if I was here saying extreme crazy things, it will play better on social media, I might get covered on cable news, and I'd excite 10 to 12% of folks on the extremes. But that's not where most Floridians actually are in real life. They're somewhere in the middle. And so they're looking up and saying, again, why does the system not reflect what I want to see? Now, the Forward Party might not play as well on cable news or social media. It's one reason why I value talking to a journalist like yourself who actually wants to call it like he sees it, because maybe you're not as driven to maximize your clicks on any given day.
You ran within the Democratic Party. What did you see lacking in the Democratic Party that made you figure out that you needed to take your own path?
Well, so the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have become beholden to the most vocal folks in their base, and that may or may not reflect what a lot of people want. I will say directly here in Florida, if you're a Democrat here in Florida, you're probably throwing up your hands in frustration. And so in this system, do you not still deserve a say? In this two-party system in Florida, you're going to look up and say, hey, no one has to listen to me unless I happen to be in one of like the pockets where my party matters. You should matter everywhere.
Well, the Democratic Party was down and out in 1988 too, and just a couple of years later, Bill Clinton and Al Franken came along and transformed it and moved it more toward the middle. With that as a point of reference, you didn't think that you too could move the direction of the Democratic Party more to your liking? Trump certainly did the Republican Party in 2015.
Well, if you look at the incentives of people who are in office, let's say at the congressional level, they're concerned about being primaried from within their own party, which is the most extreme 10 to 12% ideological voter. And if you look at DC, if you were someone who is trying to bring the party to the middle, you're an endangered species. I'm a math guy. And right now, all of the numbers are on the sides of the extremes within the parties. That's why the parties don't seem like they have it together.
Mr. Yang, thank you so much for your time.
ForwardParty.com. Click on Florida and join the movement. It's the only way you're going to have a say in your family's future.